Hello and welcome to In the Studio with Donny Carr. This is episode number 39. Today we'll be talking about subliminal modulation. Um, when I first started utilizing this technique, it really took my tracks to the next level. So I'm really excited to share it with you today. The concept is doing really subtle modulation techniques on a variety of elements in your track. Um, you know, on its own, these automations and modulations really aren't audible and they really don't make a difference. But when you have a bunch of them going together, it makes a big difference in the overall groove of your track. It sustains prolonged listening periods. So let's get right to the technique here. Let's just dive right in and get going. For the demonstration here, I put together a simple loop. It's stripped back, it's basic, and we're going to be making it more interesting with some subliminal modulation. So I'll give you a quick preview. Alright, so we're just going to loop over 4 bars, and let's get right into it. So first off, let's deal with the claps, and let's make these a bit more interesting. Now I'm going to be using just a 1-bar automation clip for this. So let's just go into our clap and reset that. And we'll be using the purely parametric EQ to accomplish this. And so what I want to do here is on the first clap, I want to have someone duck out some of the high frequencies. And on the second clap, we'll let those come back through. So let's just create an automation clip for this here. Create automation clip. Let's pull this down. And let's just copy this value. We're going to paste it here because that's going to be the end point. We'll pull this down to, I don't know, 40. I'm going to slightly exaggerate these techniques because we don't really have a lot of elements to work with here. And I just, I want to show you the techniques and the difference that it can make. So we're just going to slightly exaggerate it, maybe a little bit more than I would normally do in a track. So let's just have a listen to the claps there. Same clap, obviously, but there's a slight difference there, and that's going to help the groove. So let's go ahead and paint this across for 4 bars. And let's move on to the hi-hat here. Let's insert a track. So what I want to do to make this one more interesting is a little bit of pitch modulation. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use a 2-bar loop here, and the different length loops really play a part in, how these kind of go, they fade in and out with each other and create almost like a syncopation with the modulations that can really help your groove as well. So don't just stick to a 1-bar loop, don't just stick to a 2-bar loop, try different length loops, and that can really help inject some interest into your drums and your sounds. Alright, so what we're going to do here is a little pitch modulation. Let's go ahead and find this hat. It's the hi-hat 10. Let's pull it up. And we want the range to be 1 because we're not going to be pitching this by very much, just a few cents. So let's right click and create automation clip here. Let's pull this down. And what I want to do here is I'm just going to simply pitch this up slightly. That should do. Just a few cents. Your ear starts to discern a difference around 7, 8 cents. So that's, I like to kind of stick in that range. I don't like to make, you don't want to make this obvious. Subtlety is the key here. But you can hear there in isolation that there's a subtle difference. You can hear the being pitched up slightly. All right, so let's move on to the second hat. And what I want to do with this one is, so let's see here. Let's use a different length loop, like I just mentioned. Maybe let's try a bar and a half for this bad boy here. And we'll be doing some pitch modulation as well, but we're going to do a slightly different automation curve with it. You know, so it's kind of moving a little bit different than the other hat. All right, so this is hi-hat 2 here. So let's create an automation clip. Pull it down here. And so what I want to do is maybe instead of just pitching it up and having it go back down, kind of like this movement here, I'm thinking what we can do is pitch it down a little bit. So let's copy this value. Oops. Accidentally put in another point there that I don't want. Let's get rid of that and paste 50% in. Okay, good. Let's just pull this down slightly, maybe by 5%, and then have it pitch back up. Cool, that should work. And let's go ahead and I'll just draw this across for 4 bars, and I'm just going to cut this right here for now. Okay, let's close that up. And let's move on to the top loop. So insert a track underneath that there. So I'm going to actually use the full 4 bars of this. We're going to make a 4-bar automation clip for it. And what I'm thinking on this one is we'll do some texture modulation with an EQ on this as well, but we'll be doing it in a different way. We'll be doing more of a resonance sweep. So I'm going to reset that. So we're just going to use the parametric EQ again for this. And what we're going to do is just pull up a node, or a little resonant peak. Maybe 3 dB. Do something like that. So let's create an automation clip. And you can use LFOs for these type of things too, and controllers and this and that, but I'm decided just to use automation for the tutorial, which works just as well if you have the patience to draw the automations in. But once you have it done, then it's no big. All right, so on this one, we're gonna do a little sweep here. So let's pull this up. That should work right there. That should work fine. Moving on. Now for this perk kit, I have a nice little idea that I think might work well. Okay, so what we're going to do here is on this perk kit, what I've used is just a really short delay. I use the replica delay from Native Instruments. And what we're going to do is on the first, we're going to automate the saturation here. So let's browse parameters, saturation, there it is. Let's create an automation clip, and we'll just use the 4-bar loop again, 4-bar automation clip. Let's create an automation clip for that. And let's pull it down. So on this first hit, I want it to be like I had originally. So let's copy that value. I'm going to paste it over here so it stays the same right there. And what we're going to do is pull up the saturation slightly on this last hit, or on the second hit rather. So okay, and then we're going to take this one a little bit further, and let's also automate the feedback amount on this as well. So in addition to having the saturation be a little bit different, we're gonna turn the feedback up slightly as well on that. So let's browse parameters and the feedback right here. Create automation clip. Bada bing, bada boom. So let's keep it the same for the first one, and on the second one here, I'm gonna paste this in, or paste one here too, and we'll just pull this up. That might be a little much. We'll turn that down a little bit. Copy this. And we're going to take this even one more step further, and we're going to also pitch that bad boy as well. And we'll pitch the whole sample, not the delayed signal. So percussion, let's pull this down to 1. Let's create an automation clip. Okay, let's copy this, and I'll paste this here, and we're just going to pitch this up ever so slightly. Okay, I think that'll work. Nice. So just to recap what we've done a little texture modulation on the claps, letting or cutting out some of the top frequencies on the first clap, and then letting those come through on the second clap. And then we've done some pitch modulation on both the hats, but utilizing different length loops so they kind of sync in and out of each other and have a different movement just to create extra interest. And we've done some texture modulation with a little resonant peak sweep on the top loop, and we've done some work on the perk kit as well, a little saturation difference on the second hit, as well as some feedback and pitch on the second hit. So let's go ahead and do an A/B comparison with these, and I'm going to let it play through a couple times. Really listen for these subtle differences. I mean, really listen. Really, I mean, close your eyes and see if you can tell, from the first 4 bars from the second 4 bars. Hopefully, you're listening on a nice playback system, nice headphones, nice speakers, so you can really hear the difference. But I'm going to go ahead and play this through a couple times, and yeah, and we'll wrap it up. One more time. So I hope you can hear there that there's There is a difference there. I mean, and like I said a couple times already, that subtlety is the key. But you can hear there's a little bit more of a groove. There's a little bit of a subtle, motion and evolution going on with the sounds that you really can't pick up. The only reason that we know what's going on is because we did it. But if you're listening to a track and you just you hear this ever evolving kind of sound, it feels alive, things are moving in and out with each other. It's these subtle modulation movements, and it can really take your tracks to the next level. But be careful, don't go overboard with it, or else you can, yeah, make a big mess. So yeah, that's the video for today, subliminal modulation. I hope that you found it useful. If you did and you use it in your track and you had some good results, let me know. If you have any, suggestions on how, other creative ways to use it in your track, let me know. I'm still trying to learn every day. So yeah, get in contact with me and I'll have some more videos coming your way soon. Until then, take care and happy producing. I'll see you later.